Back with another Furio Watchers video. This one all about hip hop samples taken from tracks that came out in the 1950s. You think of sampling, most people automatically think of samples taken from either the 60s or the 70s, but there is so many great ones from the 50s as well. It was the birth of rock and roll music. There was a lot of great jazz albums that came out during the 50s as well. So yeah, during this video I'm going to try and give you a bit of background on some of the tracks, a bit of history on them, and drop in a few facts and bits of information. Hope you find it useful. Let's have a watch. What a sample this one is. Primo again. If you've not already, have a watch of the So What's Up video that he's made showing about how he produced this particular track. He's used the stabs off those horns at the beginning of this, just flipped that, used it really well and turned it into this great Biggie track. So let's have a listen to it.
This goes out to you. She give me money when I'm in need. Yeah,
So this is another one of those samples where it's more of a cover version. There is a bit of a direct sample on there, but it's mainly just copying the same melody, very similar lyrics, and just flipping that into a great track. Kanye and Jamie Foxx. Let's have a check.
Now I ain't saying she a gold digger, but she ain't messing with no broke.
Honey. Alright.
Another Kanye one. This isn't the main sample that's used on it. This is underlaid under the other one. Just quite like the way this vocal's been used on this. So let's have a check.
Honey.
What you doing in the club on a Thursday? She said she only here for a girl birthday.
Masta Ace Incorporated sample. Great rapper Masta Ace. I've seen him live, I think twice, maybe 3 times, can't quite remember. But yeah, really, really good. If you didn't know, any tracks he produces, he actually goes by the name Ace-One. So if you see Ace-One on any sample credits or any production credits anywhere, that's who it is. It's actually Masta Ace, an alias that he uses. This is a good sample. He just chops that first part of it and just flips it onto this great track. Slaughterhouse album from '93, still one I listen to pretty regularly.
That's right, y'all. Clap your hands, y'all. Cheaper, y'all. To the beat, y'all. That's right, y'all. Clap your hands, y'all.
When I'm lost in your...
Johnny Mathis, sampled by the Gravediggaz, who is someone else that I went to see live back in '94. They were really good. They were a big fan of sampling Johnny Mathis because they've actually taken 2 samples from him for the track that we're going to have a listen to. Produced by R&S, RZA, Prince Paul. Let's have a listen.
Okay, I understand you guys are pleading insanity, claiming demonic spirits.
Yeah, not really much more to say about this one. Obviously Johnny Mathis again, and I think what works with this is like there's a lot of minor notes in this that give it that darker sound. So let's have a listen to the next part.
Be a witness as I exercise my exorcism. The evil that lurks within, the sin, the terrorism. Possessed by evil spirits, voices from the dead.
Following on really well from Gravediggaz, this next one, also produced by the RZA, Prince Rakeem as he was known originally. Great Wu-Tang track off the first album. He's used 2 different parts of that original piano, chopped it up and flipped it into a great Wu-Tang track.
He act so thick, I'm fat. And yo, Ray came blowing and blew off your headphones.
Let's your ass up. Yo.
6 foot, 7 foot, 8 foot bunch. Daylight come and
That banana till the morning come.
daylight come
So we're going from the Wu-Tang in the 90s to a completely different style with this next one from 2010. Not really my type of track, but a sample from the 1950s.
Excuse my charisma, vodka with a spritzer, swagger down pat, call my bitch Patricia.
Now this is much more my type of thing. Primo and KRS together. I've seen both of them live. Primo a few times on his own. I've seen him with Gang Starr. I've seen KRS live as well. He is probably the best person I've seen live. Really small venue. The energy he brings on that stage is absolutely amazing. This is another great track as well. He's used this old 50s track, turned it into a boom bap hip hop track, laid down some great scratching over the top. Let's have a check. Wow, back to back Primo. This is not a particularly well known track, this next one. It's a remix he did for Special Ed. I think it's great the way he's taken this really small little stab at the beginning of that Miles Davis track and used that as the whole background to this next track. Let's have a check of it. Interesting thing with this sample, the track it's sampled from isn't actually the original version of it. That itself was a cover from 1952. A French guy, Sidney Bechet. If you have a listen to the really original version, there's some great horns on that. So I might have to dig through that again and actually take some samples from it. So let's have a check of this one.
What's the dilly? I just touched grounds down in Philly, bought a pound with me, fast floating around silly trying to...
Pete Rock flip with this one on a Jeru Tha Damaja track. Jeru, someone else I've seen live. Crazy story behind this one. 1997, we were at a club in Manchester and some guys apparently got turned away and they weren't too happy with that, so they came back and shot all the glass out in the front of the nightclub. So yeah, pretty interesting night that one. Anyway, on to this sample. Remix of a Jeru track. I love both versions. The original version off the album, produced by Primo, and then this great remix by Pete Rock. So let's have a check.
I leap over lies in a single pound. The Black Prophet, one day I got struck by knowledge of self.
So this next one, produced by Jay Dilla, group called Funky Cowboys, which was Jay Dilla and Proof. Both grew up in Detroit. Proof was a good friend of Eminem, was in D12 as well. They didn't do many tracks, but this is a pretty good flip. So let's have a listen to this one.
This life we live, fighting and shooting, it's polluting my mind, but I turn out fine. We used to strangle and smash, mangle and blast, although we was opposites, we was tango and cast, but it ain't gonna last.
Another one of the RZA's famous piano flips. He really liked using piano samples on that Wu-Tang first album, and this is another great example of what he's done.
The Wu is coming through, the outcome is critical. And with my style, sorta like a miracle on 34th Street in the square of Harold. I gave Blue
World. This is a really modern one from 2020, Mac Miller track, just really showing how they've completely messed around with that vocal, used different effects on it and just used that as the backbone to the track. Yeah, you probably recognise this one. Pretty much just a straight up loop used by the Fugees. on their debut album, so let's have a listen.
I horn MCs like Mephistopheles, bringing swords of Damocles. Secret Service keep a close watch as if my name was Kennedy.
Ella Fitzgerald, her voice is just immense. She's been sampled so many different times. This one isn't a particularly well-known track. It's by Damian Marley featuring Nas. So let's have a check of this one.
Can't help but feel helpless. I'm having daymares and daytime, wide awake, try to relate. This can't be happening like I'm in a dream while I'm...
Smif-N-Wessun track, this next one. Not one off the first album, this one's from 2005. Not produced by them, not produced by the Beat Miners either, like the early stuff. Let's have a listen to this.
There's a war going on outside, you ain't lying, motherfuckers ain't fighting no more, we draw a line. When the law and quiet, the cold sound is...
This next one's a great track. Combination of Primo on the production and the X-Ecutioners track, or X-Men as they were known originally. Absolutely amazing turntable group. One that really influenced me when I was learning how to do beat juggling, scratching. I've seen the X-Ecutioners live a good few times. Before it all went online, I used to go down most years down to the World DMC finals in London, and it was there one year that just in the crowd, Rock Raider was there, and I got to meet him, get a picture with him, and have a good chat with him. Really, really nice guy. Just very sad what happened to him. So let's have a listen to this one.
Nigga, your time's up.
Bear witness. The execution.
Your time's up.
Rock Raider.
This one, Jurassic 5, or J5 as they're often referred to, two great DJ producers, Cut Chemist, DJ Newmark. So let's have a check of this one.
Double X polo shirt with the hat to match. In fact, we verbally vibrate your track, then crush your confidence like plastic condiments.
Ahmad Jamal, absolute jazz legend who we sadly lost earlier this year. He has been sampled on some real big hip-hop tracks. Probably best known for some of his samples used on Nas's debut album. This next one, again, not a particularly well-known track, but it's produced by Evidence, who I really rate as a top producer. So let's listen to this one.
No, I don't really want to put you up on this here, because you's not know. I hope you don't take it too personal.
Along with A Tribe Called Quest, Digable Planets are probably one of the better known groups that fused hip hop and jazz music. They obviously had a real passion for some of the old jazz tracks. They've used two different parts of that original sample, flipped it and turned it into a great track. So let's have a check of this one.
Studied my lessons, got vision 2020. Check out the globe, they needed what we brought. Ladybug, don't we boom it from New York?
Yes we do. Kids roll with hot buttered soul. From 125 right down to Ludlow. The juice, the cup, the token fair is up.
Womp bam loom bam 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 to the boot.
This next one, sampled in 1993 by a group called Funkdoobiest, and I just don't know what happened to them. One of the very first hip-hop concerts I went to was in 93, and it was Cypress Hill, House of Pain and Funkdoobiest as support. So they came on, did a few tracks, but yeah, I don't really know what happened to them after that. I think they did that one album. They may have done more, but I completely lost touch in following them. So let's have a check of this track. So that's it, the end. So I think that's shown some great hip-hop tracks, sampled music from the 1950s, made some amazing music with it. I hope you're finding some of the bits of added info I'm giving you useful or interesting in some way. Oh, and by the way, I've got a new album out. If you want to get a 50% discount, use the code DJ Furio at checkout. There's a link in description. Thanks.